It was a gray, rainy evening. The kind of evening where the sky feels heavy and the city smells like wet concrete and coffee. I was running late. My bag was heavy, my shoes were wet, and the wind kept flipping my umbrella inside out. The train station was almost empty, except for a few travelers and the echo of distant trains. I was focused on finding my platform. My mind was full of thoughts. Deadlines, bills, small worries. I didn't notice the people around me at first. I didn't notice their faces, their shoes, their bags. I only noticed the sound of rain on the roof and the screech of train wheels on the tracks. And then I heard it. My name. It was soft at first, almost a whisper, but I stopped immediately. My heart skipped a beat. My name here? How could anyone know my name in this huge, empty station? I looked around quickly. There were a few people in the distance. A mother with a stroller. A man carrying a briefcase. A young girl holding a balloon. None of them looked at me. None of them smiled or waved. Hello, I whispered. My voice sounded small and nervous. I felt a strange mixture of fear and curiosity. Who was calling me? Then I heard it again. This time, the voice was clearer. I know you, it said. I froze. I could feel my chest tightening. I looked everywhere. The station was quiet now, almost empty. The sound of my own heartbeat was loud in my ears. The voice had come from somewhere, but I couldn't see anyone. I wanted to run. I wanted to call for help. But something in me stopped. Something told me not to be afraid. Something told me to listen. A man stepped out from the shadows. He was wearing a dark coat and a hood. His face was partially hidden, but his eyes were sharp. They were calm, but they looked like they could see everything inside me. I've been waiting for you, he said softly. I took a small step back. Who are you? I asked, my voice trembling. A friend, he said. Someone who understands. Someone who can help. I shook my head. I don't understand. How do you know me? How do you know my name? He smiled faintly. I see things people hide. I hear things people never say. And I know when someone is ready. I didn't understand. I wanted to run. But something in his voice made me stay. Something in his calm eyes made me believe him. He handed me a small envelope. Open it when you're alone, he said. It will tell you what you need to know. Before I could ask anything else, he disappeared into the shadows. I turned quickly, but he was gone. Just the rain, the gray station, and me. I stared at the envelope in my hands. It was simple, small, white, ordinary, and yet it felt heavy. Heavy with something important. Heavy with something I did not understand. I took a deep breath. The trains were still running. The lights flickered softly. The people in the station moved slowly, unaware of what just happened. And I realized my life had just changed. I ran to catch the last train home. My bag felt heavier, my shoes wetter, my heart faster. But I didn't care. I only cared about the envelope. I wanted to know. I wanted to understand. When I finally sat on the train, I took out the envelope. Inside was a single piece of paper. The handwriting was neat and familiar. My handwriting. I froze. I didn't remember writing these words. I didn't remember putting them in an envelope. I opened it carefully. The words were simple. You are stronger than you think. The secret you hide does not define you. Let it go and you will be free. I read the words again and again. My hands shook. My heart pounded. I didn't understand. How could my own words be here? How could someone know so much about me without even meeting me? I looked out the window. The city was dark, wet, and moving. People were small lights in the night. Cars passed slowly, their headlights reflecting in puddles. And I realized something strange. The stranger, he knew me. He didn't know my name for fun. He didn't know it to scare me. He knew me in a way that mattered. I thought about the years I had hidden my secret, the years I had been afraid of judgment, afraid of being alone, afraid of failing. And now, somehow, someone had seen through it. Someone had understood. I didn't know if I should cry or laugh. I didn't know if I should scream or stay silent. I only knew I felt lighter. Somehow, just holding the envelope made me feel lighter. Somehow, just reading the words made me feel hope. The train rumbled along the tracks. The lights flickered above. The city blurred outside. I realized that life is full of people who never notice us. People who pass by without seeing the small, hidden parts of us. But sometimes, just sometimes, someone notices. I folded the paper carefully and put it back in the envelope. I held it close. I didn't know who the stranger was. I didn't know how he had found me. I didn't know why he had chosen me. But I knew one thing. I had been seen. Truly seen. The train stopped at the next station. A few people got off, and a few got on. I watched them carefully. Each person had a story. Each person had secrets. Each person had fears and hopes and dreams. And I realized everyone is carrying something invisible. Everyone is fighting a battle we cannot see. The train moved again. I closed my eyes. I could still hear the stranger's words in my mind. You are stronger than you think. I whispered them softly to myself, and for the first time in years, I believed them. The train moved through the dark city. Outside the window, lights blurred and disappeared. I held the envelope tightly in my hands. My heart was still racing. My mind was full of questions. Who was the stranger? How did he know so much about me? And why had he returned my secret instead of exposing it? I slowly opened the envelope again. The paper was the same, neat and calm. I read the words once more. You are stronger than you think. The secret you hide does not define you. Let it go and you will be free. The words felt like a whisper in my mind, a whisper I had never heard before. But this time I noticed something new. There were tiny letters in the corner, very small, almost invisible. They said, "Go to the park at sunrise. There you will understand." I stared at the note. My hands shook. My stomach twisted. What could this mean? Should I go? Was it safe? My mind screamed, no. But a small voice inside said, yes, you have to know. The train slowed. I got off at my stop, rain still falling, streets wet and shiny. I walked slowly, my bag heavy, my mind full of the stranger and the envelope. I thought about my life, my hidden fears, and my secret. For years, I had been carrying a burden, a secret that made me afraid, ashamed, and lonely. I had never told anyone, not my friends, not my family, not even myself sometimes. And now, a stranger had found it, not to harm me, not to judge me, but to help me. I decided I would go to the park at sunrise. I didn't know why. I didn't know what would happen, but I felt that this was important, that this was something I had to do. The next morning, I woke early. The sky was still dark, but the first light of dawn was beginning to appear. The streets were quiet. Only a few cars passed by. I walked to the park. My heart was pounding. Every step felt heavy, but I kept going. When I arrived, the park was almost empty. A few early walkers, a jogger, and the sound of birds waking up. The air smelled fresh after the rain. I walked slowly to the center, holding the envelope close. And then I saw him, the stranger. He was sitting on a bench, calm, watching the sunrise. His hood was down. His face was peaceful. His eyes looked at me with the same calm understanding I had seen the day before. You came, he said softly. I had to. I whispered. I don't understand any of this. That's okay, he said. You don't have to understand yet. You only have to see. I sat down across from him. The park was quiet except for birds and the distant hum of traffic. He smiled faintly and nodded toward the envelope. Open it, he said. I hesitated, then slowly opened it. Inside was another piece of paper. It read, your secret is not who you are. It is only a part of you. The courage to face it is what makes you whole. Look around. See yourself in the world. I looked at him, confused. I don't understand. He stood up and pointed to the park. Look at the people around you. See them. Everyone carries something invisible. Everyone is afraid. Everyone hides a part of themselves. And yet they still live. They still hope. They still connect. You are no different. And now you can let go. I looked carefully. There were children playing. An old man feeding birds. A young couple walking slowly. Everyone had stories. Everyone had secrets. And somehow, seeing them made me understand. I had been alone in my fear. I had been trapped by my secret. But now I saw that everyone was carrying something heavy. Everyone was human. Everyone was trying. I felt a strange warmth inside me. The stranger's words began to make sense. My secret did not define me. My courage, my hope, my choices, they did. I looked up at the stranger. "Thank you," I said softly. He smiled and shook his head. "I didn't give you this gift. You gave it to yourself. I only reminded you that you are not alone." I stood up slowly. The sun was higher now, lighting the park with soft golden light. I felt something I had not felt in years. Freedom, lightness, courage. "Will I see you again?" I asked. He shook his head. "You will see me when you need to see yourself. Remember, the stranger is not always a person. Sometimes it is a moment, a feeling, a truth that appears when you are ready. And now you are ready." I watched him walk away slowly, blending into the morning light. My heart was full of gratitude. My mind was clear. My secret still existed, but it no longer controlled me. It was only a part of who I was. I walked through the park slowly, noticing everything. The birds, the flowers, the people. I smiled at a child who waved at me. I nodded at an old man feeding birds. I felt connected to the world, even in small ways. I realized something important. Life is full of strangers. Life is full of moments that can change us. Life is full of invisible threads that tie us to people, to moments, to courage, to hope. And sometimes all it takes is one small act, a call of a name, a return letter, a quiet word, to awaken something inside us. I went home that morning feeling lighter, stronger, and more alive. The envelope was still in my bag. I didn't need to open it again. Its words were inside me now. Its message had become part of my heart. And I promised myself something. I would notice the people around me. I would connect, even in small ways. I would see others, and I would let others see me. I would be brave enough to face my fears. I would be human, because sometimes a stranger can remind you of the most important truth. You are never truly alone, even in the darkest moment, even when the world seems big and cold, even when fear and doubt feel stronger than courage. We are all connected, by small moments, by invisible threads, by understanding, by kindness, by recognition. The stranger who knew my name had shown me that, and I would never forget. That day, the rain stopped. The sun shone softly. The city woke around me, and I walked forward, carrying the courage, hope, and freedom I had almost forgotten. Life had changed, and so had I, because sometimes the people who don't know you at all can help you see yourself the clearest.